Hello guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, as you can see, I am going to be reacting to Mr. Beast Paused Me in Subs, the new PewDiePie video. It was published about a minute ago, so I'm one of the very first people in the world to see this video. And I'm going to see what PewDiePie thinks about
over me in subscribers, but I have one secret trick up my sleeve. Book review.
Oh, finally, these are the types of videos I really appreciate from PewDiePie. Apart from the Japan vlogs, the book reviews, they're top tier videos, and I miss these. He hasn't made one in quite some time.
Or Happy Wheels Part 200. I should have done Happy Wheels Part 200.
Okay, I think we can continue with this.
Wheels Part 200. I should have done Happy Wheels Part 200.
I mean, I don't really miss Happy Wheels.
Here's what I'm gonna do. 6 books that changed the way I think.
I think this one here is his own book.
I no longer care about subs. The first book, I know you have never ever heard of this thing. Buddhism.
Actually, I don't think PewDiePie cared about subscriber count in about 3 years now. He retired back then. He focused more on his own work, his own life, his own ambitions and goals. He got married and he's now living in Japan. He's focusing on his mental and physical health. I think he's way happier than most people who have a big subscriber count are, so I look up to him for that.
What is that? That's right, the anthology of the Pali Canon. If you want to read Buddhism, go ahead. Here you go, read it, knock yourself out, I'll see you in a couple years. But thanks to the Buddha's words, a summary, you can get to all of the good bits and skip all of the repetition. There's a lot of repetition in the Pali Canon.
I mean, yeah, from the little Buddhism I've read, there's a lot of repetition where it comes to being noble, respecting yourself, loving yourself and others, respecting nature. I think that's what he might mean.
And what have I declared? This is suffering. I have declared. This is the origin of suffering. I have declared. This is the cessation of suffering. I have declared.
That's even
this
worse
is the
than
way leading to the sensation of suffering. I have declared. Why have I declared that? Okay, fine. This one also has a lot of repetition. But it obviously has a lot of interesting things. I'll summarize the bits that stood out to me. We're all gonna live. Okay, follow along. Yeah? We're all gonna die. What the fuck do you do in between?
Yeah,
only acceptable answer. Watch people.
That's actually a question many people have been trying to answer for years, and some people have actually found a decent way to live the in-between.
All day. Okay, you're good.
All day perhaps not, but I watched it for a few minutes
now,
a day.
I personally
That's more than enough.
This idea, but they go into depth of talking about craving and suffering. And this sort of opened my eyes up to self-control. According to Buddhism, craving is suffering. If you want something, you are suffering as a consequence. And I know what you're thinking, you little smartass. Well, if craving is suffering, all I have to do is get the thing. Homeless people just buy a house. Look at this dude giving into every craving that he has. Suffering don't work like that. Sure, it might satisfy.
I think what he's trying to say is that self-control is better than, you know,
and then another. Or big.
Suffering through cravings.
Where does it end? Well, never. If it will go on forever, you will keep wanting stuff and crave forever and be reborn in the wheel of samsara, I think. Listen, I didn't make that up. If you think about your existence as a mere probability, and you already existing being a testimony to that being a possibility, and if time is infinite, or even just space is infinite, then what's not there to say that? To me, this is really about suffering.
I honestly haven't seen PewDiePie thinking so hard in ages. Like, it's a good thing he got to reading some books.
Take control of your body and don't live as a passive passenger. So to reduce this suffering of craving is not to limit it, and it's not to give into it, or cheat days.
Okay, so what about the balance?
But it's to be free from it, by uprooting it. It's really
getting rid of it entirely.
I talked about it, and I'm free from it. Hooray! But I think in general, self-control is something, it helps you examine yourself and what you want and why you want it. And it's really going to help you with it. Live life good. Don't live forever bad.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Next book.
Good philosophy. Aristotle, okay.
Nicomachean Ethics.
Hasn't he read this one already? Or was he mentioning that he wanted to read this one day and now he got to it?
Wow, what a fun title. Please tell me more, Felix. Okay, I will. Aristotle, the greatest one of the greatest philosophers of all time.
Yeah,
He
okay.
studied under Plato. He taught Alexander the Great himself. He said all these amazing things.
That's
Mother
Plato and
thought women
Aristotle.
had less teeth than men.
Yeah, wow.
You could have just checked, bro. You had a wife. I googled it. Bro, what happened?
Take the elbows, though.
I want to know.
He talked too hard about it, I
It's
guess.
the first philosophy book that I read that discusses the idea of happiness. And 2,300 years or whatever later, it's still pretty goddamn relevant. Some of us may look at happiness as reaching wealth, fame,
1 minute until
fame,
I readjust the
pleasure.
quality.
Wrong. I tell you why it's wrong, because these things can be stripped away from you in the moment.
Yeah?
Not happiness.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
That
that
is not
relevant, is it?
happiness.
If it can be taken
Happiness
away
is
from
what
you
the
so
Greeks used the
easily.
word for eudaimonia, I think.
I studied this in philosophy.
Say that.
I did an
Eudaimonia.
intermediate
It's a state
exam.
of being, of flourishing as an individual. So happy now. Nothing, no one can take away from you. It's more of a goal than anything, and you reach it by actively being good, making the right choices,
Yeah.
and practicing virtue as a habit. To oversimplify all of that, don't go on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, social media is basically the downfall of our happiness as a society. That's my impression of society nowadays. Through social media, the way we think has changed drastically, and we've lost our sense of empathy, our sense of happiness, and our sense of being. Even further than we had already done so prior.
Those are bad habits, okay? Stop it. Virtue is an active choice that you as an individual have to make. And we
But
usually
PewDiePie
know
does
about
occasionally
it. We
use
just don't like
Instagram,
think
to be
about it.
fair.
This is obviously oversimplifying,
I guess it's just
but this
not an
is a
addiction.
really good book. And if this interests you, I recommend reading it and digging deeper. It personally helped me maintain and develop better habits for myself, and for that I am thankful. Even though you can't count, you said some good stuff.
Yeah,
Next
you might not be able
book.
to count the
Everyone
difference in
always
faith between men
talks
and
about
women.
Stoicism. Marcus
I think this is where he's
so
bringing up his
cool.
own
He was
book.
like an emperor, but also philosopher. Okay, sure, absolutely, but don't sleep on Epictetus.
Oh, this guy?
Wait a minute. Sleep on Epictetus.
Well, I love to see him being
The
this immature.
Enchiridion
He's
by
basically like
Epictetus.
32 now.
Best name.
He's still so immature, you know?
Best name.
It's
On
great
the very
to see
first
him
page, he describes
so happy.
Stoicism perfectly. It's almost like they came up with it. There are things in life that you can control, and there are things in life that you can't control. Don't worry about things you can't control, okay? For example, whenever I drive in Japan, it's really difficult because the GPS a lot of times will tell me left, but I can clearly tell that the road is going right. So in that moment, I have to make a decision based on my intuition. Should I
Okay, so how is he going to bring in philosophy into this decision? This
go left
dilemma.
or right? And somehow I always pick the worst goddamn choice, and my 20-minute trip is all of a sudden 1 fucking hour just because of the gas. But that doesn't annoy me anymore because of Stoicism.
Alright,
Stoicism
okay.
has lately become more popular, and it
Stoicism
can of course
helped
be
him
applied
not
to
feel
anything.
pissed about
They talk a lot
losing
about
time.
anger and why that's not a useful emotion. But I don't think people fully realize to what extent they took this idea. Stoicism was a school of thought that came up during very trying times, under tyranny. Burn down my house, take all of my belongings, take my arms, take my legs, don't take my...
Yeah, I guess it's important for people not to take Felix's legs
But you
away.
can never take my virtue.
But
To
somebody
me,
did take
Stoicism
his
is
legs
all about
already.
freedom. You
right?
can be the richest and most
It's not even a
powerful,
meme anymore,
but you can
it's the
still
truth, right?
ultimately be a slave if other people
Felix
are
doesn't have
controlling
any
your
legs.
actions. If you have fear of losing what you have, then you are ultimately being controlled by it. And
Yeah, I
we all
suppose.
have ideas and opinions of what is good and bad. For example, dying is bad, right?
Depends, I suppose. I mean,
Right.
why is dying bad? I mean, if you do live a healthy, happy life, regardless of its length, if you know how to fill in that in between, is it really a bad thing to die? I mean, if you're satisfied with the way you've lived, with the way you've treated others, and the way others have treated you, I wouldn't be scared of death in that case. I'd be scared of death if I have some unresolved issues with people or with myself.
Wrong. You're wrong. At least according to Stoicism, they compare fear of death, for example, similar to a baby crying about not getting what they want. Because dying is sort of part of nature. You cry, baby. Good or bad doesn't exist. It's just something that we made up. The only thing that's
something
true
that we have to
is
go
what is
through.
according to nature. And I think one of the things that stands out the most is that if you are in a situation of trying times, that's for a Stoic an opportunity, rather, to display this virtue, this eudaimonia. And that way, ultimately,
I appreciate how he's bringing all this together, you know, the information from all the books he's read, how he's tying them up together.
flipping painship on its head doesn't exist. Thank you. I will no longer be mad at the GPS machine. I promise.
Good
My
thing he
point
read all
is
those
that it's
books, huh?
difficult, okay? Even Marcus complained how difficult it is. Next book. Gay Science.
Gay Science.
I know what
Friedrich
you
Nietzsche.
mean.
Wow, I didn't know
It's
about
okay.
this.
I'll give you the pass. The first time I
Does it
read
have
Nietzsche,
anything to do with
I read Young, Good, and
homosexuality?
Evil. I didn't understand a goddamn fucking thing. Don't watch my book review, it's embarrassing. And I'm not gonna pretend I'm some
Guy with
Nietzsche
large
scholar now
mustache.
either, but I had a bad time first reading him because he was referencing all these different philosophers, and I had no clue who they even were. After reading more philosophy, coming back to Nietzsche again,
I like that, man.
my
I
reaction
like when
was
that
still
happens
bad
even with
because I
fiction
went,
books
this
and
guy's
they
making
got
fun of all my
sexuality.
heroes. What the fuck? So Nietzsche for me was a slow cook, I will admit. But the best way to understand philosophy
Nietzsche made fun
is
of all
to
his
understand the
heroes, of
person
all the
behind it.
people he
And
read,
the
you know.
more I
The
feel like I've
Aristotles,
done
the
that, the more I
Platos.
came to love Nietzsche. He loves his words. He's very great at them. He's very harsh and
Yeah.
very brutal. But you understand that he targets philosophers
Alexander
that he
the
likes,
Great.
or that he at least admires to some degree. I guess some he just hated. But, you know, Stoicism is passionless. Can't refute it. But to me what stands out the
Is this
most
his
is
editor who
life
made this? Who changed Stoicism into Star Wars?
performing
Was
work.
that intentional?
Nietzsche wanted to overcome nihilism. Look at this book. Look how dark and epic and scary it is. Oh,
It
nihilism.
actually does look
That's what
pretty
it's all
cool.
about. No, he wanted to overcome it. None of this life is suffering boo-hoo bullshit. It's not that life is suffering, it's what we do with that suffering. Give meaning to it. We all know this already. A hero's tale would be nothing without the villain. It's that simple. I feel like I have a lot to say about Mustache Man. I might keep it for another time. I can tell you, however, before reading Nietzsche, I listened to Kelly Clarkson's Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You, and I had no visible reaction. Now, I listen to it, and I go,
I mean, I don't really know about this. If you're reading all this philosophy, I mean, I understand that this is satire, he's trying to make fun of her or something like that, but if he's actually reading all this philosophy, he must be watching this stuff just to make fun of it.
thank you, Kelly Clarkson.
Well, at least there's a
get it
visible
now.
reaction now.
Next, but this one is a bit out of left field. The Mathematical Universe.
I
yeah.
actually want to buy
I pretty
this.
much
This
talked
looks
about all of these
very,
books already.
seems to be very
so
interesting.
I apologize
It's
for
very
the
different from what I
repetition
usually read.
declared. But this book brought up so many scientific possibilities
For
that
a
I had
mathematical
obviously
universe.
no fucking clue about. They were never taught to me in school. And
Yeah,
to me, they're just mind-blowing. I really
you
don't
get
want to
from
sound like
school
that
is
one
actually
ninja tweet.
proper
I can't
learning.
stop thinking about quantum fixes.
You can
or
only
whatever
teach
it is.
yourself.
Or to be that one person that brings up the double slit
Nobody
experiment
can
in every
actually
single
teach
goddamn
you
conversation. I have been
anything.
that person. I apologize. But most of these philosophy books that I previously mentioned,
What about his own
they
book?
were
When
written
is he
so
bringing
long,
that one up?
where in a time where people didn't know
I'm
much
pretty
about
sure I
the
saw
world,
it at the beginning.
or our universe, for that matter. So the possibilities seemed endless. Now we know so much about the world,
Yeah?
and I would like to know less of it. Okay? Am I the only one with this opinion? The sun is
I mean, being the curious person I am, I don't agree with this thing. I mean, I always want to learn more. And I don't think you could ever actually arrive at a point where you want to unlearn what you've learned. I mean, you could always use that information either to make a joke or to scare people with what they do not know. So you could also just try to forget it if you really don't want to know about it, but it comes in handy, you know. Knowing anything could really be useful as long as you don't forget what is actually deemed important by the rest of society.
a giant ball of gas. Whoopity fucking do. Thank you so much, science. no, I don't need an iPhone 12 instead of an 11. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you can
really
compare it with the size of a nuke
I made a video
explosion.
about it as well. But how is actually logically
You know, at least you have a
possible?
degree of how terrible something
puts
could
you
be.
not just in the mind of all these philosophy books, but also in the time.
Something to
It's
compare it
crazy
to.
to me how ideas discussed thousands of years ago have a logical foot in science today. And even philosophy
Yeah.
about happiness still has a relevance. I think this book did such a great job at describing these complex ideas in a way that's easily digestible, and to me this is very exciting.
These
I don't
puzzle
think we'll
books
ever
are
know
actually very
everything,
helpful.
but
I'm
I also
reading
think
Jordan
that doesn't
Peterson
matter,
right now.
because we will
It's
always
brilliant.
have philosophy.
And I don't think it's solely because of Peterson himself.
But
Even the
I
format of the
randomly
book really
stumbled
helps.
upon this
Oh,
book.
finally,
This
his
book
own
was-
book.
It's
I actually
written
read this
by
one a
what
couple
I
of
think is the
months
greatest
ago,
philosopher
or has it
of
been
our
years
time.
ago? He's
PewDiePie.
fucking awesome, man.
I don't know who that is,
Such
but I would love to
inspiration within
collaborate
this
with
book.
him
I
one day.
recommend it to anybody.
Alright, that's it. Oh, congrats, Mr. Beast. Obviously, just joking.
Yeah, I mean, this video was about him to begin with, so he made a book review to try to get more subscribers. It was a good video. I appreciate this one. I really miss his book reviews and his Japan vlogs. I mean, his meme reviews are actually pretty cool as well, but videos like this are something that is are videos which are relatable to me because I really enjoy reading as well, and the recommendations PewDiePie gives, you can always trust them. For instance, in one of his previous book reviews, he mentioned that Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury was terrible, and up until he mentioned that, I had only heard of positive reviews. So him saying something like that actually helped me think that I'm not the only one who thinks such highly acclaimed authors could be terrible too. So it was a good video, and I miss these types of videos. I also congratulate Mr. Beast for getting so many subscribers. I believe he's at 117 million right now. So yeah, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next reaction video. Hope you could recommend anything in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and obviously share with your friends and family. Bye guys.